Sports Illustrated's Pat Putnam wrote that Curry's style is that of an artist. He fences deftly with the rapier and disdains the bold slashes of the saber. His moves are more poetic than pugilistic, gracefully deadly, earning the nickname of He was born Donald Ray Sample on September 7, 1961, in Fort Worth, Texas. At the age of 8, he followed his older brothers Bruce and Graylin to the boxing gym. By the age of 15, he would win the National Junior Olympics in his weight class, shocking observers with what one reporter called his pro-like precision. At the age of 16, he would win the National AAU Championship. But after the victory, Curry had had enough of boxing. He grew tired of the routine of going to school, coming home to sleep for an hour, going to the boxing gym, then returning home to do homework before going to bed. Now enrolled at Paschal High in Fort Worth, he developed other interests. He wanted to play football and run track. He wanted to hang out with friends. But Curry would find out that the sport had a hold over him. He saw an advertisement for the Golden Gloves and signed up without having been in the gym for 6 months. 2 days later, he was in the finals, taking on Ruben Estreli, who sucker punched him and knocked him down, as Curry reached out for the traditional touching of gloves to start the match. Curry quickly got up and took control of the fight, flooring his opponent and winning the tournament. He resumed his amateur career, but almost quit again when he knocked out Ronnie Newton with an uppercut and watched as his opponent was immediately taken to the hospital to have emergency brain surgery performed. Curry said, "For a while it bothered me and I blamed myself, but then I realized that the guy had a choice. He didn't have to fight. Maybe he had a problem with his head before he got in the ring. I don't know what went through his mind, but he had a choice." Curry would then go on a tear, once again winning the National AAU title in 1979, the National Golden Gloves in the following year, and then earn a spot on the United States Olympic team after defeating future junior middleweight champion Davey Moore in the box office. He would be denied a sure gold medal when President Jimmy Carter decided to boycott the Olympic Games. Curry remained unsure about turning professional, but didn't want to wait another 4 years for an opportunity at Olympic gold. After numerous promoters and managers made offers, Curry would stick with the team that got him there. His trainer would remain Paul Reyes, an assembly line worker at the General Motors plant who ran a boxing program sponsored by the UAW 276 Union. Reyes was a former amateur bantamweight champion, and he would pick up young fighters in his '68 Chevrolet, in his words, packing him in there like Sugar Ray sardines. Curry would be managed by the owner of the gym, Dave Gorman. Gorman was a former bricklayer from Eagan, Texas with a 9th grade education. A third-generation brick mason, boxing was his true passion, and he trained amateur fighters for over 15 years. "I work with boxers the same way I lay bricks," Gorman said. "You start with work and desire, then you learn and listen." Curry was always a quiet young man, and Gorman said that he knew him for over 5 years before they ever had a real conversation. The only words Curry said back then as a youngster was either yes or no. Both Gorman and Reyes realized that Curry had an exceptional talent by the age of 12 as he developed moves that other kids didn't have. Soon Gorman's gym began developing a reputation of turning out good young amateur fighters. Fighters like Gene Hatcher, Robin Blake, Steve Cruz, and Harold Petty began winning amateur titles. Gorman would often pay for fighters' meals out of his own pocket, while he and Reyes would give them rides to and from the gym. Under Gorman, Reyes, and cutman Joe Barrientos, Fort Worth soon became known as Fight Town. Curry built an amateur record of over 400 wins against only 4 losses. He would turn professional in December of 1980, but would campaign more in Las Vegas than Fort Worth. Manager Dave Gorman signed a promotional contract with Bob Arum's Top Rank, and Curry appeared on ESPN shows as he built up his record.
Welterweight Don Curry's a young man in a hurry. He took care of his opponent tonight, Joe Moliere, with a TKO in the first round with a pair of knockdowns. Now 6-0 with 6 knockouts. The Cobra is really flicking out some poison.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm gonna take them on. I'll take anybody right now. I'm ready.
As we take a look at the first knockdown, let's talk to your one of your trainers, David Gorman. David, what was your evaluation of the work tonight?
Oh, Don looked beautiful. He went in there and started putting some right hands down and up. Had this guy hurt to the body right off, and so everything up top started working real good for him. And Donald's just hitting so quick and so fast with his punches, this guy couldn't react to it, you know.
You maneuvered him for a pair of left hooks very well, as Sean O'Grady gives you an A+ for that.
Thank you, Sean. Well, I've been practicing with a left-hander when I teammate, and it worked. I didn't know he was left-handed. When he came out left-handed, I said, oh, I'm glad I sparred my teammate back home left-handed.
As we take a look at the second knockdown, I want to ask Paul Reese for his report card.
Well, we were kind of surprised that he was left-handed. We didn't know it because left-handers usually give Donald the most trouble, but evidently he is ready this time for his left-handed guy.
Question from Sean.
Is there any suggestions you could tell some fighter that's listening to us about a left-handed opponent?
Well, I start moving to my left more and stay outside his right foot and try to throw more right hands.
Well, you're moving very well, man. And of course, 6-0, 6 knockouts. You haven't done anything wrong yet. This is a terror coming out of Fort Worth, Texas, and we hope to see him again on ESPN. Congratulations to the Cobra, Don Curry.
On October 29th, 1981, he would take on the tough Vernon Lewis, who had never been knocked down and faced the likes of Clyde Gray and Wilfred Benitez. Curry would finish him in 1 round, and critics began to believe that the Lone Star Cobra was more advanced than Sugar Ray Leonard was at this early stage of their career. Promoter Bob Arum wanted him to build a fan base in Fort Worth, but he found it difficult, as Curry was soft-spoken and shy. His analytical approach to boxing prompted one reporter to write, "Curry is a chess master playing the Sicilian defense, looking for a crack of an opening on the 60-second move." Bob Arum offered Gorman a fight with top contender Roger Stafford in May of 1982, but Gorman refused, stating that he didn't want to rush Curry into a briar patch before he was ready. By the end of the year, Curry was touted by Ring magazine as the single best prospect in the country. But his brothers weren't doing so well. Older brother Graylin would plead guilty to a 1981 robbery of a barbecue restaurant, receiving 10 years probation. Eldest brother Bruce would seek his fortune in Las Vegas, but fell on bad times because of poor management and his own erratic behavior. He would join Donald at Gorman's gym, but soon started a brawl with the other fighters. Donald himself would help Gorman kick his brother Bruce out of the gym. While Gorman seemed to do everything above board, he wasn't above suspicion. When Curry was extended by Mike Senegal, his gloves would be ripped open in round 5 and then in round 8 as well. Senegal's manager, Phil Daly, charged that Gorman cut the gloves so they would burst and give a flu-weakened Curry ample time to rest. Curry weighed 154 pounds only a day before the fight. He had a swollen colon and he could not hold down any food. He had to melt down to a contracted weight of 149 pounds. Still, the breaks in time to replace the gloves seemed to benefit Senegal more than Curry, as Curry would stop his foe in the 10th round. Senegal's manager Daly filed a $7 million civil lawsuit, claiming that someone cut the gloves, but the case would be thrown out for insufficient evidence. In October of that same year, Curry would be slated to face his toughest test against former welterweight champion Pepino Cuevas. But Cuevas would pull out of the fight 3 days before, claiming a shoulder injury. A fight was then made with fellow undefeated prospect Marlon Starling. Curry had broke training, and when he resumed, he was overweight and uninspired. Gorman was concerned, knowing that his fighter was going through the motions. Despite a rib injury that limited him to just 5 days of hard training, Curry took the decision over Starling, and he hoped it earned him a fight with Sugar Ray Leonard. But Leonard would retire, and Curry would be contested with the unknown Junsuk HWANG for the vacated WBA title. The fight would be held in Curry's native Fort Worth, but HWANG received surprising support from over 500 members of the Korean community who showed up to cheer him on at the Tarrant Co. Convention Center in Fort Worth. Local writer Galen Watkins would describe the battle as having the frenzied pace of a demolition derby and two styles as different as hotcakes and squid. During the fight, Curry would injure the ligament in his right wrist, and it would be a chronic injury for the rest of his career. In September of 1983, he would face top contender Roger Stafford, the fighter whom Gorman had avoided only a year earlier. Stafford was an ex-Marine and talked trash about Curry to the local press. Curry's mother, Hazel, read some of Stafford's insults and immediately called her son, instructing him to, quote, whip him for mama. Curry would earn his largest purse to date, earning over $225,000. Older brother Bruce would continue to have problems, losing his title to Billy Costello in January of 1984, and days later get arrested in Las Vegas after getting into a fist fight with his trainer Jesse Reed and firing several gunshots at him. Curry would be called Bruce so often that he joked that he began wondering about his first name himself. In August of that same year, his sister Angela would die in a motorcycle accident. Devastated, Donald began helping to raise her 4-year-old son and proceeded to go on a tear in the welterweight division, defending his title against the top contenders available.
thought impressively. And I think now that I'm the king of boxing and I'm pound for pound, I think I'm the best boxer in the world.
I agree.
Curry soon rose to the top half of the pound-for-pound rankings. Sugar Ray Leonard continued to tease about a comeback, stating, "First I'll knock out Milt McCrory, then I'll knock out Don Curry, knock out Duran, knock out Hearns, and knock out Hagler." Talks began of a prospective Curry-Sugar Ray Leonard showdown. With the money earned from his win streak, Curry purchased his mother a $450,000 home in Burleson, Texas, and she resigned from her position at a hospital where she worked as a maid. February 22, 1985 was declared Donald Curry Day in Fort Worth, Texas. There was continued talk of him facing Sugar Ray Leonard and Aaron Pryor before he would face Milton McCrory in an eagerly anticipated showdown to unify the welterweight titles.
I saw a fighter as relaxed as Milton McCrory and as intense as Donald Curry was the marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns fight, when Hearns came in very relaxed and Hagler came in all business with the fight. And a big right hand.
He's timing that jab, left jab of McCrory, and coming with the counter right hand.
Get a combination, drives McCrory into the ropes. He bounces off the ropes.
Devastating right hand.
And another good left hand, and McCrory's in trouble. Curry right on top of him.
He's hurt. You notice his knees buckled.
McCrory is still in trouble.
That tells you that these guys are putting a lot of body, are getting a lot of leverage behind each punch.
A left hand, down goes McCrory. A smashing left hook. He's in trouble. Curry right back. It's over. This one is history.
6, 7, 8, 9, 8. You couldn't see a more picture-perfect fight than Donald Curry fought tonight. He has the makings of being a truly great, great fighter.
It was a flawless, stars-born performance. The Los Angeles Times reported that, quote, "It wasn't a fight, it was a recital. No wasted motions, no histrionics. Donald Curry is a cold-eyed, impassive, professional killer." There was now talk of Curry stepping up to face marvelous Marvin Hagler and being the pound-for-pound best in the sport. The top spot was ripe for the taking. Hagler himself was contemplating retirement. Sugar Ray Leonard was still retired. Mike Tyson was only just emerging. It was a vacuum that Curry could fill. He would come to the Will Rogers Coliseum to a hero's welcome, blasting out Eduardo Rodriguez. The moment would seem to be the last hurrah for Curry. The day after the bout, Curry would announce that he had demoted manager Dave Gorman to the title of training camp coordinator, and that he had hired Akbar Muhammad to be his business agent. Muhammad was an executive at Top Rank who quit his job to take over Curry's career. Meanwhile, Gorman was a man who had built his reputation on loyalty and was having one of his own turn his back on him. According to his wife, Loretta, the betrayal was devastating. Gorman himself would admit that for 6 months, he could barely function as a human being. Curry also hired Sugar Ray Leonard's attorney, Mike Traynor, as an advisor. Traynor would restructure Curry's payouts. Gorman would get 10% down from 28%, while trainer Paul Reyes would get 5% down from 10%. The final tally, however, would show Gorman's cut down to only 6%. Gorman initially threatened to walk away, wanting a cash buyout that he wouldn't get. He would accept the deal at the time as he didn't have any other fighters making money and his gym needed the funding. Akbar Muhammad then made a formal request that Gorman would not be able to attend any of Curry's future training camps. Promoter Bob Arum noted that Curry had taken his mind off of boxing and had become consumed with the financial arrangements of the people around him. Curry was talked out of a $1 million showdown with Mike McCallum and instead took only $300,000 to fight the unknown Lloyd Hunnigan on a Showtime late-night card. Coming into the ring looking unprepared, Curry would get the worst beating of his career.
We mentioned ring rust. Donald with only 4 rounds in the last year. Good right hand by Hunnigan. Good right hand.
Say that again. Round 1 running its course. We're here in Atlantic City. It's Caesars Atlantic City. And a right hand buckled Curry's knees. He got hit hard with a right hand, and he's holding on and pushes Curry away. Donald's in trouble. He is in trouble. He's moving on a bicycle, trying to keep out of range. Hunnigan with a short right hand buckled his knees. Hunnigan may be a little the stronger of the two. Another right hand again. Boy, has he got Curry's head popping back. The undisputed welterweight champion of the world seems in a bit of trouble.
He is in trouble.
Hunnigan must know Rodney Dangerfield. He's showing absolutely no respect. Oh, a good right hand. He hurt Hunnigan.
Well, he set it up with the left hook to the body. And nailed him with a good right hand.
Right hand. Right hand. Curry has him in a little bit of trouble. He's on Queer Street.
Curry, that's
He's got him hurt. Curry's knees are gone.
Another right hand. And Hunnigan knows he's hurt him. This is boxing. We've seen big upsets, but if in fact it takes place tonight, this will rate as one of the biggest in history. Here we're talking about a kid a lot of people said could be one of the greatest. And here right at this particular moment, he's in trouble.
Right hand. And the reason is, as Gillis said, he's not using the jab. Blood now flowing. Another right hand. Another right hand hurt him. Hunnigan just measuring with a right hand. This is like spelling against Lewis the first time.
Another right hand. He gobbled him.
He's got him in trouble. Bad trouble.
And he pushed him up with his shoulder.
Put it mildly. He's looking towards his corner. Another right hand.
At the moment, Hunnigan is just too quick for him. In and out, nailing him with punches and getting back out. Ring rust sure is obvious.
Oh, he's getting banged from all sides.
There goes the title.
Absolutely. Oh, right hand again.
Left hook right hand, Bill. And Curry is badly hurt now, Bill. Left hook right hand. From the opening bell.
The end of the 6th round. Let's see what they do in Curry's corner. Did they stop the fight?
It's a very, very bad cut. They stopped the fight, and we have a new world champion.
Gorman was upset after the bout, saying that wasn't Donald Curry in there. Curry tried to be philosophical, saying we all got to lose at one time or another. Bob Arum said that Curry had concocted paranoid ideas that Gorman was kowtowing to him. In the end, he had dreams of instant gratification and ended up with nothing. Meanwhile, the Gormans were forced to live on 1/10 of their former $250,000 salary that they had with Curry. The South Main gym, which had Donald Curry's name in front, had to close because of mounting debt. The Fort Worth dynasty of Fight Town was officially over. 5 months after they lost to Hunnigan, Curry would launch his comeback, but something was missing as he struggled through bouts with Tony Montgomery and Carlos Santos. Neither of those fights could motivate me, Curry admitted. On July 18, 1987, Curry had an opportunity for redemption. He would take on the undefeated Mike McCallum for the WBA junior middleweight title. Gorman arrived at the Hotel Caesars and saw a notation not to give him a room near the rest of the Curry entourage. He could only laugh. It was reported that Curry had trained harder than ever, and things started well. A points victory seemed to be in his grasp until he committed an error that he never corrected throughout his career, pulling straight back with his hands down.
He has to be careful, has to be cautious all the time.
That was the bad short right hand by Curry, and again, we mentioned earlier in Ray's tip of the night that McCallum, perhaps even more than Curry, drops his left hand. Let's watch for it. And a combination by McCallum. McCallum.
Donald's trying to ride with the left hook, but his timing is off. He's not really riding with it.
Don't push.
See, inside Mike is really a master.
A big right hand by Curry.
That was a solid right hand, and it buckled the knees of Mike McCallum.
McCallum has never been down. One punch and a near knockdown. And there was another right hand.
I'm surprised it's the corner of Mike McCallum didn't tell him to bring that left hand up. Bring it back to his place.
Curry now scoring heavily with the left as well as with that right hand.
Well, I think that he found out that to bring the hands down of Mike McCallum, those body shots proved to be effective.
Another right hand over the left of McCallum.
Curry's punch is a lot smoother, more fluid, whereas that Mike McCallum, I don't know, he just seems to be more lethargic.
Good uppercut by Curry and a left hand behind it.
See, Donald doesn't need the weight. Curry does not need the weight.
Curry got McCallum's attention with that left hand counterpunch as well.
Unfortunate position by standing side too long.
Another right hand by Curry.
Donald Curry, the last round, controlled the fight pretty much.
Another right hand by Curry and a left behind it.
He's beaten Mike McCallum to the punch. That's what's happened.
And a left hand by Curry. A left hand again by left hand by McCallum. Counter punch.
Donald was throwing some beautiful combinations here. He's not giving angles at all. He's directly in front of Donald.
And there is a left hand by Mike McCallum that came out of the blue and put Donald Curry on his back. It's all over, and Mike McCallum is the champion. A classic one-punch knockout.
Oh, that was a beautiful punch.
By January of 1988, Dave Gorman and cutman Joe Barrientos would be cut out completely from the Curry camp. Only trainer Paul Reyes and longtime friend Alfred Doug Jackson remained. Curry would win a tough fight against LUPE AQUINO, but his post-fight comments would once again wound David Gorman, who was back in Fort Worth rooting for him. Curry would then file a $30 million lawsuit against Mike Trainer and Sugar Ray Leonard, stating that they instructed him to remain in the welterweight division in 1986. That decision, Curry contended, would assure that he would not be in the way of the comeback Leonard was planning against Hagler. In July of 1988, Curry would win the junior middleweight title against Gianfranco Rossi. He admitted that he felt tired in the 10th round, but Rossi was more fatigued than he was. In February of 1989, Curry would have one of the worst performances of his career, running out of gas and losing his title against French journeyman RENE JACQUOT. Curry admitted that he was burning candles on both ends. He started a dry cleaning and construction business while taking classes at Texas Wesleyan University. "I was going through the motions, but my mind was elsewhere," Curry said. "I think there was a mental burnout from not really wanting to train or dedicate myself to what I was doing. I dreaded going to the gym, dreaded running, dreaded training. It wasn't fun anymore. I was fooling myself." Curry would admit the error of his ways and make up with Gorman, but he would not invite Gorman back to his camp. Instead, he added former Army boxing coach Alton Merkerson to his training team, leaving Reyes as an assistant. Curry would have 2 more high-profile fights, losing to Michael Nunn and then to Terry Norris. Once again, Curry would blame a lack of motivation for the defeats. He had fallen out of love with boxing and only ran for 3 miles instead of his usual 6 to 8 in his prime. He faded badly in both fights. Curry would retire. He would turn to training and managing boxers. There was a new breed of fighters coming through the Fort Worth area like Skipper Kelp, Freddie Norwood, Carl Daniels, Kevin Childrey, and Emmett Linton, whom Curry took under his wing. But in 1995, Curry would be charged with cocaine smuggling and money laundering. 2 fellow fighters would be convicted, but Curry would be acquitted. The money required for his legal defense would strip him bare financially. He would turn to selling vacuum cleaners, telemarketing, and was contemplating working as an airline reservation rep when he decided to return to boxing after nearly a 6-year hiatus. "I'm broke as a joke," Curry said after announcing his comeback. "I need money. I owe everybody." Curry had earned over $5 million during the course of his career, but lost it all due to his involvement with Akbar Muhammad. "I trusted the guy," Curry said, "and he took my soul from me." Curry moved to Las Vegas and signed with a manager named Neil Touring, who inked him for a 4-year contract despite Curry's advanced age. Former light heavyweight champion Eddie Mustafa Muhammad would take over training duties. Trouble would still follow as Curry would get into a street brawl with his protege Emmett Linton, who allegedly tipped off a woman that Curry owed child support to. Curry would be arrested and spend 6 weeks in jail for failing to pay the child support. Both Curry and Linton decided to settle matters in the ring in April of 1997. At the age of 35, Curry had nothing left. "I made a lot of mistakes in life, and I'm paying for them," Curry said. "I got a taste of the limelight, and that's not who I really am. I'm sort of a low-key guy who likes to stay in the background and do my work. That's who I am." Curry would retire and return to his native Texas to live with his family. He continues to train up-and-coming fighters. In 2019, he was enshrined into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.